The major SEC news from the last couple of days going after Binance and Coinbase has gotten people to wonder, who's next? Welcome back, everyone. Looks like the waters are muddy again, right? The waters are muddy, and the SEC is causing a lot of turbulence. And of course, right, we're trying to figure out, when does this end and who's next? We've got this article out of the Cryptonomist, and here we go. We're going to dive into this article and find out why they think that they could be next. Rumors point specifically to Crypto.com, a well-known cryptocurrency exchange that operates in more than 100 countries around the world, including the U.S. territory. Given that the federal agency has accused Binance and Coinbase of violating laws regarding the sale of unregistered securities, it's thought that the SEC will employ the same strategy against the platform run by Chris Marszalek. Many of the security tokens that the subpoenaed exchanges offered to the U.S. investors are also present in Crypto.com's marketplace. All right, so it starts to sound like they might be next. There's a lot of people who don't know who Crypto.com is. We are going to take a little bit of a trip down memory lane because there are many new people to this space, and some people might not remember who this shitcoin or what this shitcoin was once upon a time. Anyways, let's continue to dive into this. Crypto.com also features a native token, CRO, which has not yet been considered a security by the SEC, but has been managed by the platform in a similar way to what Binance did with BNB. Gensler himself stated publicly in an interview with CNBC, "We don't need more digital currencies. We already have digital currencies, and they are called dollars, euros, and yen." I don't entirely agree with that, but I get it, right? Of course, the government is scared. The institutions are worried. As much as, we can all sit there and make fun, the reality is that governments had the monopoly on money creation for a very long time. And what is happening right now, specifically with Bitcoin, is that it is disrupting the money production, or more specifically, the powers that produce money. So yeah, they're definitely a little worried, and they want to make sure that everybody understands the money's already doing what it's supposed to do. We don't need this new thing. Okay, that's their narrative. You stay away from that new thing. You pay attention to the old thing that we control. Anyways, let's continue on here. From the words of the federal agency's main spokesperson, that there is a deep willingness to fight all cryptocurrencies in the U.S. except for Bitcoin and Ethereum, which have never been mentioned in recent days. All right, I'm going to give my personal take on what I think is happening with ETH. And of course, as you guys all know, I don't support shitcoin, so I don't think anything good's going to happen with it. I actually think that what the SEC is doing right now, I was actually talking about this with a fellow Bitcoiner, and we both agree, and it doesn't mean that we're right, but it seems as though the SEC is getting ready to go after Ethereum. And what they're going to do is they're going to set a precedence with all of these other wins, or the wins that they expect to have against XRP, against Binance, against Coinbase. Anyways, we'll see how this plays out, but I think that I believe that this is strategic. I know that right now to us, it seems like the SEC has no idea what they're doing. And again, I'm not saying that the government is not incompetent. I have plenty of evidence otherwise that they are, but I'm just saying in this particular case, they may actually have a strategy here, guys. They may actually have a strategy. Just putting that out there. Okay, let's continue back with the article. Could Crypto.com's regulatory compliance hinder the SEC? That's right. Has Crypto.com actually been somehow doing things by the book? Anyways, Crypto.com's trump card against the SEC's bullying is undoubtedly the relative power of regulatory compliance enjoyed by the exchange. What? It is well known that the crypto exchange platform has received several approvals from regulators around the world in recent years. demonstrating a consistent commitment to the regulatory compliance of its business. It has regulatory approvals of its operations in countries such as Italy, Singapore, Argentina, the United Kingdom, Brazil, France, Japan, and Canada, as well as several certifications such as SOC2 and ISO 22301. Crypto.com is headquartered in Singapore, distant both in terms of kilometers and regulatory jurisdiction with Washington, D.C. and its vigilantes. I just want to point out XRP is quote-unquote ISO 20022 certified. That's not helping them. So don't get me wrong, that ISO certification is a good thing. It just simply means that you are you're following a generally accepted standard. But it is somewhat of a nothing burger. Anyways, I just wanted to point that out. Despite the illustrious bulletin board of compliance level accolades and the absence of physicality in the United States, it still remains a fundamental problem. Crypto.com has been offering to U.S. residents the same cryptocurrencies that a few days ago were cited by the SEC as securities and requiring approval by the agency itself. The exchange thus risks being electrocuted by U.S. regulators and losing a market that is critical to the platform's business. Crypto.com has a completely different financial reach than Binance and Coinbase, with significantly smaller balance sheets and market share. The Crow token, in comparison with BNB, capitalizes 20 times less and plays a completely marginal role in the utility token industry. Okay, so we're not big, so we don't matter. So it's fine. You can just let us continue to do what we're doing. The cryptocurrency had a heyday only during the bull run of 2021, where it was bought by users of the platform mainly to enjoy credit card benefits. Now, a lot of people may not know who Crypto.com was, so I just want to do a little trip back in time. Say hello to Monaco Coin. That's right. For those of us who were around in 2017 and 2018, you may remember this shitcoin. And Monaco or MCO, okay, was going to be, look, just like 10x, right? Just like 10x, it was going to have a credit card tied to it, and you could just simply spend by using the credit card. That's right. 10x was going to get you a Visa card that could let you spend crypto. Monaco was going to do it. This was one of the big shills back then. So the ICO boom was one of them, but the other thing was the tokens that had already come out. They needed to attract bag holders. And what better way? Because back then the big talking point or the narrative was payment systems, payment rails. We're competing with Visa, we're competing with MasterCard, all this stuff. The irony of it, right? You're competing with them. That's why you're issuing or trying to issue branded cards by them. And of course, that never really materialized. And Monaco, to the credit of their CEO, right? Because it is a company, right? Like we tell you about the shit coins, they always have a central point of failure. Chris, the CEO, he managed to save their shitcoin by pivoting and seeing where the market was going. So to his credit, he did manage to keep this trash alive. Now, of course, here we are, and it's Crypto.com, and they're offering unregistered securities to U.S. residents. Does their relative size matter? Somewhat. From what I've seen from regulators is that, and again, this isn't like a line in the sand. It doesn't always happen this way, but interestingly enough, sometimes regulators let your business get, like, they know they're watching what you're doing, and the regulators know that what you're doing is breaking the law, or you're kind of sitting in a gray area, and they'll let you grow big enough, right? Essentially, so that you kind of hook yourself, right? You kind of shoot yourself in the foot. So they essentially give you the rope to metaphorically hang yourself with. Now, going back to this whole Is Crypto.com next? Maybe, right? Maybe it's next. Maybe it's not. Personally, I haven't seen the SEC even mention them at all. So I would say it's a giant nothing burger. I would say that they're not necessarily next. Let's say they were next. All it would be another case to add in the notch of cases that I believe the SEC is trying to build up before they take down or attempt to take down a much bigger platform, such as Ethereum, which of course, Ethereum is not an exchange or anything like that. Having been in this space now since 2016, 2017, I don't remember because Bitcoin time screws me up. I can honestly say that I've seen the SEC noise get louder and louder, and it's kind of like they're chiseling to this like one single point, right? Like so they keep getting more and more granular. So look, I do think the hammer is going to drop. I don't really know what it's going to mean for the entire space, but I could say this, which I've said in past videos: holding only Bitcoin and making sure that I hold my Bitcoin in a self-sovereign way, meaning that I do not hold Bitcoin on exchanges, meaning that I employ a cold wallet / signing device, as Walton always likes to remind me of. Or, right, the better, I guess you'd say the better alternative is Bitcoin Core, right? Installing Bitcoin Core on a laptop that doesn't necessarily connect to the internet unless it's just to update the blockchain. That's also a valid way to store your Bitcoin. Doing all of these things makes it so that watching this is just like a show, right? Like we're just watching a show, and it kind of feels good to be not part of it, right? It definitely feels good not to be a part of this show. We are a Bitcoin only show by plebs for plebs. If you like our content, please consider liking and subscribing, and I will catch you all next week.